Welcome back, Speedromizer. We are just about ready here. So, let's kick off the event with some excitement. Let's get it going with Spyro Year of the Dragon, run by Lemming. Take it away.
Hello, Speedromizer fans, and welcome to Spyro, Year of the Dragon. Came out in 2000, the actual Year of the Dragon. What a great naming system. With me is my coach, Derek Lander, and Spyro Runner. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Derek Lander. I run all of the Spyro and Crash games for the PS1, and I was here trying to help Lemmings learn the run. And as such, we're going to see a great run.
Yes,
Spyro 300 egg.
100 eggs. And for any other runners in the chat, if you're like me, you put a lot of effort into making this run work for you. I myself had a lot of little tiny life commitments come up that made my practice a bit harrowing. And the key that really got me over the edge here, time's starting right now, sorry about that, is proper nutrition. And, you know, nothing beats the blend of omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, B vitamins, and iodide than an egg. So we're going to help show you how to get 100 eggs here for 2 weekends packed with good old Speedromizer fun. So viewers can have the stamina to enjoy and runners can get those sweet PBs.
Indeed, indeed. So 100 eggs, like when we said, we're going to get 100 eggs, get all those zinc, get all those vitamins. And a lot of the eggs we're going to get through intended ways, unintended ways. We're going to glitch into some levels, not glitch into some levels. It's going to be a cluster, but it makes for a really good showcase and overall just a fun time.
Yep, right now we do have a more or less casual level here. We're just going to do it quick. Derek, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the actual total amount of eggs in the game is 150, so we're getting 2/3 of them?
Yes, we are getting 2/3 of them. 150's in the game. And out of those 150, there's like 105 you could realistically consider because the other 45 are like extended long like mini games with characters we don't have unlocked and stuff like that.
Yeah, and preview, the mini games can be a little rough, so I'm happy that we dodged those. No, it's actually great for a beginner like myself that we can do a little bit of route variance to go after the eggs that work best for myself. There are definitely some eggs that work for everybody. I mean, that one was just lying around. I mean, our villains are not the best hiders, but there are a couple later on that drive me a little out of my mind, so we get to avoid those by changing the route accordingly.
Yeah, in the first homeworld here, the Sunrise Spring, in this level, Sunny Villa, you'll notice in the first homeworld, they're just not that good at hiding them. I think in the beginning cutscene, they say, we're going to steal all the eggs and hide them and, you know, use them for devious purposes. And in this level, I mean, 2 of them are just out and about, and one of them's ultra easy to get. So
the plot of this game is kind of fascinating to me. It mostly seems to revolve around a cartoon rabbit who doesn't realize she's working for an evil dinosaur, is really the best way I can describe it. So most of the cutscenes revolve around her. I actually didn't hear Spyro talk until I finished the game in the credits, and he's a little bit passive in this one, even though he is doing all the hard work here.
Yeah. In Spyro 2, I guess he talked a touch too much, even though it wasn't that bad. So in this game, until you basically beat it, you don't get much of anything. And here we have an interesting skip that's going to be coming up. No problemo. Basically, in Spyro 3, every single side section portals extend out, like, back a ton for some reason. A lot of, like, portal bleed, we call it. So Lemmings here is going to demonstrate. You go over here, hug this wall. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah, that's not too tricky, but if you mess it up, you die. You gotta start the level over, and it's a bit of a walk of shame back. If we minimize our walks of shame, there will be a couple. Then I will be a happy camper. So that one is already off the book, so we're off to a good start here. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing here. I think we're restarting the sun or something.
Yeah, this is sun seeds. I can't really tell either. Even though I've played this game hundreds of times, I just always view it as the cool orange guys with glasses. I don't know why we're helping them, but
One thing as a runner that's happening under the hood that I love about Cloud Spires is, for reasons unclear, traditionally if you want to skip a dialogue, cutscene, whatever, you kind of you mash your X button, your square button, your start button. Here you can do triangle too, and it really helps move like just that much faster, which is the kind of thing that's not going to bother you, the viewers. I love it. Just a slightly faster interaction with some of these, whatever this animal is.
Yeah. So since we went to that side section early, it actually pops us out at the end of the level because you're supposed to be here last. So we can get the end of level egg. Every level, at the end of its level, is going to have an NPC character be like, "Oh, thank you for doing whatever," and give you an egg. So in every level, we're basically going to go to the end to at least get one free egg.
Yeah, and if it wouldn't add a ton of time, some of the animals say some pretty funny stuff about the eggs. They either don't understand what they are, or they're very cavalier about the dragon life within. There are some billy goats coming up later that talk about like pulling pranks by throwing the eggs at other people's houses or making omelets. So definitely my favorite little stinker animal.
Yeah, and nice. That's a good thief grab.
That worked out well.
When you do the mini game that Lemmings just did there, the bell mini game, if you get Spyro positioned in a certain way, the thief freaks out. So when you go back, what am I trying to say? Like after the mini game, the thief will try to go to the left like every time, which is not a good spot for him to be in.
Yeah, we'll have some
got that quick.
Some call it developer intended thieves coming up, and you can see what they do if you haven't played a Spyro game before. Basically, they are enemies that are just about as fast as you are, so you have to do some optimal like charge running, basically, to get the egg they're taking from you. And they're deliberately coded to tick you off. It's kind of inspired design, honestly.
Now, here we have a bit of an annoying point for beginners and even advanced runners. And that's going to be trying to get out of bounds. Basically, we want to enter Sheila's Alp, but Moneybags has her locked up and is trying to get us to pay some ransom. It's like 300 gems. And even though it's cheap, we just don't have 300 gems. We have like 130. So Lemmings here is going to show off the tree method. There's two methods to do this. This one is a bit easier, but they're both kind of annoying.
Let's go ahead and pick up this one first, and then we'll give it a proper shot here.
Yeah, so with the tree method, you get the egg at the end of the tunnel, and you kind of have to because no matter what, the game like tries to stop you to make sure you get that egg. And then after that, we're gonna go through that tunnel, and we call it the tree method because the idea is to get Spyro to kind of glide above a tree that he's not supposed to be at, and then land on it so we can get out of bounds. So that looks good.
Favorable.
Nice. It's not done yet. We have to get the swimming air.
Ooh, that might be a bad lead up.
Oh, we could try head
bit
bash.
Tragic. All right. Well, that's why I actually grabbed the tutorial fairy here so she could save me.
Right.
It's a bit unfortunate, but pretty much in line with what I expected here today. So we should be fine.
Yeah, there's this skip, like, it's really not the easiest, and when you're trying to get the swim, you have to basically hit the water plane at a certain height. So Lemmings here is going to try to, like, meet the water plane at the same time. There we go, perfect. And by doing that, we can get a swimming air, and you see that mustache right there. That's actually the portal. Basically, every game's portal, it's not locked away like somewhere obscure. It's just its y-axis has been moved into the negatives because the developers thought like, okay, where you can't get under the map, so we'll just make it negative like y500. So
it's
every single level,
like they get harder. Like that one, there's like a nice easy visual cue. Like you see it and you do it, but then almost as if, you know, they expected you to do this, like there's a couple others we're going to do later on, and there's really no obvious visual cue, so you just kind of have to get the height right and use some other scenery to orient yourself.
Yeah, the visual cue is definitely very weird. Like, Sheila's has the best, but then later in the run, we'll mention it. Some of the other levels have, like, a tiny hint, and then some just have none. Like, I'd say the majority of them later in the run just are going to have nothing. So it's going to be really kind of difficult to pinpoint where they're at, but I believe in Lemming. He's got it.
We've done some attention at, even if they go haywire, we should be all right here. One thing that's kind of common, especially in these non-Spyro character missions, is sometimes you need to... it's kind of an escort mission, really. You have to clear an area of baddies, and then whatever little animal friend who is carrying an egg for you will actually go to his intended spot. So these little yodeling rhinoceri, we have to actually sort all these folks out before that billy goat up there is going to move. Excuse me, thank you. Let's grab one more while he's doing that.
Yeah. And then while we're doing that, we're grabbing gems because we need 300 for a side section. Usually we don't like to pay for the side sections, but this one upcoming in Molten Crater has 2 eggs that are like relatively quick. So we definitely want to get 300 before we get to that.
Yeah, I'm really loath to endorse the capitalism bear, but it's one of those things where it's not really too hard to make minor charge deviances to grab your 300 gems, and we're in a great spot right now. Like we're gonna no need to detour. Oh, it's right there already. Okay. Before I do that, let's make sure I don't forget Liam the Dragon Egg, who I don't even know how they got him in here.
Yeah, I guess when they were hiding them, they were thinking of unique spots, and they were like, this rock, no one could open. But luckily we have Head Bash, so we can just open it up, and that just shows you the difference. Some eggs, we're going to have to work for it, and some of them, you just got to know where they're at. And then in this level, I'm going to head through it. This is where the game starts to get... I don't want to say harder, but the enemy quantity starts to ramp up out of nowhere. This level just spams enemies in this one section here.
Yeah, most large enemies, like these Indiana Jones rhinoceri, they can hit you from further away than you think. So usually I like to just give them a quick flame so they don't smack me when I'm on like a nice little groove.
Yeah. And so we're going to get to the end of the level egg, and Rocky here's going to give us an egg, and then we're going to do a skip. You're meant to backtrack for this section coming up, because you're supposed to unlock Sergeant Bird, which is another playable character in this game. But we can actually access his level early by going to the top of his portal and just touching the loading zone. So you land on those 2 platforms. Oh, it's fine.
Oh, I get the sign of shame. All right.
The sign.
I would say that this gets filed under pretty easy to learn, but I do struggle with consistency with it. So while this is unfortunate, it's not altogether shocking. Even tragically, including this bit where I fall in the lava. We're actually just going to take a death here so we can get a reload up at the original area. Thankfully, whenever you get an egg, you get a little checkpoint.
Set it up.
There we go.
There we go. And then, yeah, if you just touch the top of that. We mentioned portal bleeds earlier, how they extend backwards. Very few extend upwards, and lucky for us, Sergeant Bird is just one of them where it extends upward, where you could, like, touch it. So I don't know why. And we do all that because this Luna egg here is really free. So that's good.
Yeah, that's why I persist with a...
Spyro!
A jump I'm not terribly great at. But, you know, there's a lot of them, and for some reason that's where my muscle memory gets a little wonky. Here are the aforementioned scenes. We basically do these as intended. So what you want to do here is kind of, I think you call it a flame charge. It's, oops. Basically what you do is you, well, you don't do that.
No, we do a flame charge. Basically, flame charging is, where in a lot of Spyro games, you can collect gems from baskets further away if you flame and then charge immediately after, because the game gets wonky and it thinks that you charged through it even though you didn't. So here, we're going to see the thief probably get caught around this corner. Is this corner right here is the perfect spot? Yep, exactly as said.
Those got a lot better for me once I realized I kind of have to lead my targets, like a flight sim almost. You learn kind of where they're gonna be, and then you shoot your flame breath there accordingly.
Now this thief's a little rougher because we have the supercharge, so we need to really try to get it. That was a close one. Nice.
Yeah.
That second to last one was like really on the money, just barely missed.
Yeah, over time, that one actually got easier for me. I think just because there's a little bit less downtime, so to speak.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't do what I actually did with the yellow thief and fall off the edge there, you'll get them.
Yeah, and now we are heading to a underwater level. It's pretty common in games that people don't like the underwater levels. And in Spyro, it's really unfortunate because even though it looks pretty, Spyro's movement underwater is basically halved. Like anytime you want to turn around, it's like half the speed as usual. So it's pretty rough, but luckily we're going to be going through this quick enough and not having to grab any gems. So it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, we're actually done with gems in this run. We did our one money bags trick, and the rest of them we're actually going to be doing with swim in air glitches similar to what we did with the tree swim later on. No, the tutorial fairy. I get her 9 times out of 10, but I always think I have just enough air to clear it.
Yeah. So here's an egg that's just standing around. Jason, the man. Then we're gonna head up here.
Yeah, most of our dragon egg names have been pretty standard, you could say. They get kind of weird later on.
Yeah, later on in the run, they were running out of names, and this was pre-internet age. So they didn't really like have the ability to just look up like the most common names. So around the back half, you get some like inside jokes. You get some really funky names that don't really make sense.
Hi, Spyro.
So
we'll call out a few of my favorites.
Yeah, here we have a side section. This side section, for how short it is, actually has 2 eggs. So
yeah,
we're gonna come up here and gonna get this egg, and then we're gonna do sand castles, which is basically a mini game where we need to destroy some of the turrets and kind of clear out the sand castles for these sea guys to blow it up. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. From a narrative perspective, I always found this a little bit strange.
Yeah. We're clearing. I guess the idea is that it's their headquarters, and the Rhinox are like the bad people. So we want to blow it up. It's kind of mean, and Sheila alone is taking out this like army of dudes. And after this last stomp, we're gonna get like a 15-20 second cutscene even of these guys just walking them in and walking out, and it blows up.
Just a prank, bro.
Also, I'm seeing some amazing egg names in chat. I'm seeing Noodles, Stubby, yeah.
All to be featured here today at Speedromizer.
Yeah. I think Noodles is definitely the fan favorite. There's actually a side category called Noodles %, where you just get noodles as quick as possible.
Just beeline the noodles. Let's take a quick pit stop here and grab that butterfly. Speaking of weird implications of Spyro mortality, the way health works, if you're not familiar, is you are an apex predator. Whether you're a dragon or a purple dog, either way you do hunt for your health. So you go after prey animals. I think on some level they still realize that's a little bit weird for a kid's game. So instead, what happens is you defeat them, and then your friendly dragonfly Sparks eats like a butterfly of essence. And that seems like it has some weird spiritual implications. But you know what, I'm not too worried about it. This is Bluto.
Bluto is so this boss fight is notoriously hard to do quick. So Lemming here actually has a strat that I did see in practice, and it looked okay.
Yeah, we did take a hit early, so we may lose here. We'll see. It kind of depends on how aggro he wants to be. He has chosen non-violence, so we should be okay.
Look at that! That was insane. So Bluto, he basically has 3 modes. He can shoot missiles, he can charge you, or he can go for ammunition and eat them with the idea that you can't have it. And you want him to go for the ammunition like every single time, because that's just an opening for you to get more shots in. So that was I want to say that was like half luck, half skill, but we absolutely take that.
Well, you're half right. Oops. Okay, this is also kind of a fascinating part of the run. We're doing a little mini game here. We have to hit scuba guys and not hit bombs. It's difficult. Usually if I don't get it first try, it takes like four or five attempts. I'm not going to count that first one where I ran to the very first bomb. See, like right there, just missing a diver.
And it's way harder than it looks because for some reason the controls in this section are very slippery. I don't know if they thought it made the minigame easier, but basically, remember how I said Spyro's movement is like halved underwater? In this tunnel, it's like 1.25. Like, he really turns in this tunnel. So, it's kind of ridiculous. But even that, like, third try would still be an egg you want to get. So, still good.
Well, what's interesting about it is we're going to do a similar minigame again at the very, very end of the game. And that one's not that bad. This one here at the start is kind of brutal. I don't really know what's going on there. I grabbed something called a skill point for safety. Throughout the game, there are these little kind of swag moves you can do, and the game will reward you with full health and an extra life. So I took a quick little detour to grab that one because we are entering our first boss. And while technically I do have the combination of know-how and speed tech to do it damageless, experience has taught me let's just get a couple of safety hits in here.
Yeah, so yeah, this boss, Buzz, he's an interesting one. There's a unique tech in this game where a lot of the bosses won't hit you if they're off screen. And we can't really use that anywhere else because we're trying to pick up like ammunition and stuff like that. With Buzz, we're going to attack him. He's going to get thrown in the lava. And when he's coming up, we're just going to try to off-screen him because he only really has one attack phase. And trying to off-screen him is sometimes picky because sometimes the game, doesn't think you're looking enough away, so he should stop and not hit you. And sometimes when you charge into him, you won't get the angle you want. Sometimes he does that. Okay.
Yeah,
that was an extended one.
That's why we're doing safety here. Fortunately, he was nice enough to run to the edge of the map here. We'll do one non-camera here because he's not gonna like punish us for it. But you can kind of see the issue here where. Hello?
Whoa, he is.
There
we
go. The game is cheating back. All right.
So yeah, after the first one, you do the camera strats to try to avoid him doing a lava attack. And then yeah, it's kind of rough because you want to get the angle to knock him off when you're like not looking at him as well. So it's one of those things where like experienced runners has probably spent like, I'm not even kidding, probably like a few hours just doing this. And I will admit, it's not the funnest.
I mean, it is great tech. I love that there is basically a way to completely trivialize this guy. Oops.
Oh my lord! Wow, he's aggressive.
Wow. Okay, we lived.
Yeah, that just shows you how Buzz can go. Like if you let him get an attack phase out, especially on the last one.
I'm not gonna say the line because he did do that to me once before, but it's very uncommon that he like tries to like triple hit me there. So I'm glad we pulled through on that.
That was insane because what happened was I guess the game didn't like your camera positioning, so he got the fire attack out. But he like ran beside you and then did the fire attack, so it was like an instant hit, knocked you off, and then he tried to spit fire. That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm very happy that worked out because that would have been a really irritating time loss if he had died there at the very end.
Okay.
Yeah, and now we're in the second homeworld. This one has an interesting skip coming up.
Yeah, bridge
called
swim.
a bridge swim, and it's very difficult. So I'm gonna basically just talk and make. So bridge swim is really annoying. Basically, you're trying to get Spyro to bob his head so he can swim out of bounds. It's obviously not intended, and you basically have to swim at the peak of Spyro's height and no more, no less. So it's not surprising if it will take like quite a few attempts. But it's basically
we're doing some RNG manip here. I actually I'll go quiet in a second here, but I actually kind of love this skip despite some of the struggles with it. I'll explain why in a little bit here.
Yeah, but the reason we do this is because Sergeant Bird's base is a level we have to complete in this homeworld. And Moneybags, we thought 400 was egregious, but he wants 800 for Sergeant Bird. And we don't got 800 gems, and we don't want to route 800 gems in. So we do a little swimming skip.
There we got it. I'm really fond of that skip for maybe weird sicko speedrunner reasons. It's clearly unpleasant, judging by a little bit of like peeking into the community, and I get it, right? Like it's it's probably a very epic run killer when you're on a good pace. But I kind of like it because one, there's a lot of like great advice that the community will give you, but ultimately, what they will tell you is that at the end of the day, it comes down to vibes, which I kind of love a vibe-based speed tech. It's not fun when you're learning, but once you have an understanding with it, it feels good to get a first try here.
Yeah, so now we're going to enter Sergeant Bird's base out of bounds.
Oops.
Barely missed it. Basically, this one has no lineup. Nice. So with Sheila's Alp earlier in the run, we had a little mustache indicator. Sergeant Bird is as blind as can be. You kind of just have to have the know-how for it. Lemming actually like missed it the first time, but knew kind of where it was on the backtrack, so that was really good.
Yeah, you just kind of learn the height you need. And with that, you have the visual cue of two little loot pods, and if you go between those at the right height, you're golden.
Yeah. So here we have the second side character, Sergeant Bird. We saw him in Molten Crater when we skipped into him, but we didn't really like play as him too much. Oh, you're blocking the.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah.
What I thought I would do there is, because she will whip you back for this cutscene no matter where you are. I was gonna try and clear out a couple of enemies. It's not strictly necessary, but it's just a little bit less to worry about. We do a funny thing where we hold both shoulder buttons to make Sergeant Bird move faster. It does make him a little bit wonky to control, which is probably why you're getting a little motion sick watching me do this. Yeah, this is the guy I wanted to dispatch because he will do exactly what he did there.
Yeah, yeah, so basically in the game's code, anytime you hold one of the shoulder burns, you're supposed to strafe. And since you're trying to dodge enemies' attacks, the game developers were like, well, we need to make sure strafe is fast enough to dodge those attacks, you know? But if you hold both of them, you are in the strafe stage, but you don't actually go strafe left or strafe right. So we kind of just hold it down for the majority of Sergeant Bird. It makes it so much harder to control, but he's way faster that way. And after those 2 eggs, we get out of there because that level is a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm glad we only do the 2.
Nice thief grab. So yeah, that's definitely not intended. What's supposed to happen is basically going out of that level, you're not supposed to get the thief. You're supposed to get it before you go into the level. And if you go kind of where Lemming went, where that like green patch is there, the thief gets confused and it tries to go right, and then it tries to go, wait, you're more right, I need to go left, and he kind of gets stuck there for like half a second. So that was very clean.
So we talked over, but we did get our first, I would call it questionable egg name in Ryan Lee. Apologies to any Ryan Lees watching, but I had not heard that one until I played Spyro, Year of the Dragon. We got Michael here as a little bit of a chaser. And then this next one, gotta do a little trick jump here. It's not too bad, but I did kind of get an awkward angle at it. And we're gonna get Piranha here.
Luckily, we should be able to barely make. Oh!
No!
Ah.
That will happen.
So yeah, basically, you're not supposed to do it that way. There's a door that Moneybags wants you to pay for. And I think he wants like 300 gems just to open a door. And if you do this jump, you kind of just skip paying for Moneybags.
Anyway, not too bad, but if you mess it up, you gotta get Piranha. But all that for dear Thelonious.
Thelonious. That's not a community favorite, but I see a lot more like newish runners definitely mention that one.
We gotta bring that one back. Gen Z's who plan to be parents, consider Thelonious.
Thelonious. Or Frank.
Or Frank. That's true. I haven't met a lot of Franks lately.
Yeah. So that level, other than that trick jump, a lot of the eggs were kind of just out and about. And next level we have is Bamboo Terrorist. I love this level's aesthetic. But in terms of tricks, it's kind of annoying if you don't get some of them.
Yeah, we're gonna try mostly a swag trick right off the bat, but it's kind of a one-off. Either you get it or you don't, and then the rest will be I'd say maybe a little more forgiving. Although as soon as I say that, it does occur to me you can die doing one of them. But fortunately, we are going to take a little safety detour in the level to pick up 4 extra lives, and that should keep us probably good.
Yeah. I actually like that you go for the 4 extra lives, because a lot of people who speedrun, they kind of just look at the top runs and copy what they do. Also, here we have a rock proxy. You're gonna try to jump in there.
No!
Oh,
I think I was a little bit late on that second hop.
Yeah.
What we were trying to do is launch, and you'll actually see it later in the run, but there are these things called proxies where I think they're all a little bit different, but you can basically get Spyro to launch really high in the air, and then from that vantage point you can position yourself in a favorable area. So we normally get Madison, if we did the proxy correctly, by getting on the roof of that gate and then clipping through some scenery that they didn't bother making collision for, because, I mean, why would you be up there? So not a huge time loss. I just think it looks cool.
And then here's the 4 extra lives we're gonna get. Which, again, I'm happy we're doing this because there's some tricks later in the run that if you miss it, you die. So this is like marathon safe, and I'm a big fan of it.
Shout out for marathon safety.
Yeah, that dude right there when we swam up is really aggressive, I swear. Here we have another trick coming up. We're going to try to get a swim in air. Nice.
And then we're going to very carefully, because we can soft lock if we're not careful. Pee-wee here, Pee-wee, is actually an egg that generates after you finish the level here, I believe, and he's usually held by an egg thief, but
yes, they
just store him under that bridge in the meantime.
Yeah, it goes back to the idea of if we want something that's not accessible, just make it negative Y. There they were a touch lazy. They only made it negative like 50Y or something from its original position.
Hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, so because of that, we can just get it. And right there, we basically went out of bounds to enter Bentley's level. All these side character levels, we're supposed to like have them unlocked and then come back and backtrack through the game at a later point. But so far, we've skipped into every single one. So,
yeah, veteran runners will not actually get this egg we're doing right here, but the purpose of me doing it is to avoid a pretty infamous minigame later. You'll still see the minigame, you're just not going to see the harder version of it. That guy always hits me. I've never figured out a good way to avoid that.
I try to jump it, but he's aggressive, yeah.
It's fine. So this is, again, kind of a great feature of the run. Like, if you don't want to pin the marathon estimate on an infamous harrowing minigame, we can just get some Bentley content instead.
Yeah, Bentley doesn't show up a whole lot in the run other than if you choose to do this and his actual level. Other than that, we skip him a lot of times. So
yeah, Sheila's really the only one we give a lot of attention to.
And I generally think it's just because Sheila's early in the run, and like in this, since it's early in the run, they were more like willing to put eggs just out in the open.
Got a little health there. Ooh.
And earlier we saw Lemming did open the a portal here. Basically, to open that one, Hunter is supposed to stand outside. You're supposed to get a rock and shoot it at a target. It's supposed to teach you how to shoot objects. Earlier in the run, Lemming shot a fireball at it, which for some reason Hunter thought was okay, so he opened it anyway.
So this at the beginner level, there's not a lot to this level, and it's going to go on for like 2 or 3 minutes. So if there's any updates about the rest of the marathon, I would love to hear them.
Not only that, but quick discretion. There's going to be a loud audio source in about 20 to 25 seconds, and I do mean loud. So
good call out.
You guys better lower your audio just a touch.
As we prep our ears, just want to remind folks that Lemming's doing a fantastic job and just learned this run over the last 90 days. And you've been out of bounds, you've been skipping content. It's been fabulous to watch. So, great job so far.
Thank you.
We do have the ability to donate. We are donating and raising money for community. So, if you would like, you can do... believe it's exclamation point donate. Otherwise, Nightbot will remind us from time to time. Head on over, and when you donate, do not forget to put your donations towards open incentives.
Fantastic. Good timing.
Thank you. And yeah, outside of Enchanted Towers, that level we really just get 2 eggs. But the reason we do it is every single level, I don't know if I mentioned this, you have to get the end of level egg to go to the next homeworld.
Right, yeah.
So no matter like if the level is as slow as possible, you have to do every single one and get to the end at least. Also, Mingus, very good call out. Mingus is definitely a fan favorite.
So here in Icy Peak, there's a lot of really amazing strats that right up until the wire, I contemplated doing a couple of them, and I have thought better of them because some of them are big penalty if you mess them up. But we still have a little bit of tech here to show off in Icy Peak. So this is one of your more technical levels, I think, in the community.
Yeah, it's not really a fan favorite because usually we go for an Icy Peak jump, which is very tight. It's a very tight jump, and you lose a lot of runs to it.
Yeah, it's
and
so cool when you get it, but there's like no guarantee I'm not going to burn all my lives on it, tragically.
Yeah, and not only that, but if we're going outside of 100 egg, for like 117, this level is known to crash very often, which is the game's full completion category. I actually did a Spyro 3 session not too long ago of the full completion of this game, and Icy Peak crashed on me not once, but twice. So I was not a happy man.
I did try a cannon jump just there, but no dice. But that one's safe. If you screw that up, you really only cost yourself a couple of seconds.
Yeah, so since we didn't do like the big jump that's like insanely difficult, this backup route is like really nice because cannon jump isn't that like, you know, important. And then we can come over here, get to the end of the level, and then do the side mini game once we blow
charge
it.
Flop there.
Yep.
Not too impressive for viewers, but it's kind of cool to pull off when you do it.
Yep. Then here we have Doug, the best NPC in the game. He goes,
Doug,
Yep.
And
then he goes, by the way, and for some reason we love it.
Oh, by the way,
That's the chuckle that gets us.
Oh, I skipped the chuckle. Whoops. All right, well.
It happens. And now we are going to do this mini game. There's 2 eggs here. It's super quick if we do it right. We're basically going to go for the red guy up here because he's kind of just staying there and not moving. And then we're going to get the yellow one.
I think he gave me a skill. I think he gave me credit for that skill point, even though I fell off at the end.
Yeah. So here, nice. So there's a lot of camera jank with specifically the yellow thief if you get the red one. I don't know exactly in the code why it does that, but if you get the red one, the game just doesn't like it. So on the yellow thief, if you pan the camera a certain way, the yellow thief will just keep resetting to the same spawn point. And so Lemming took advantage of that and basically spawn killed it.
Basically, it's left trigger. Press that and then do dispatch his thief in any way you see fit.
Yeah. That was very clean, I'm not gonna lie. This Icy, like other than the cannon jump, I mean, since we went this way, this was pretty good, man.
Yeah, there was a couple, if we had screwed up a couple of those jumps, that would have been a heavy time penalty. So they're not impossible, but all the same, you're always like, well, what if I, let's not screw up super duper badly if we can help it.
Yeah. And this is going to be the end of Midday Gardens. We are 2 out of the 4 homeworlds away. Now we have another boss fight. This one isn't as chokeable as Buzz, if you catch my drift. Like, it's not like you can get, like, destroyed on something you don't expect. But he is aggressive to some extent. Like even though he's easier to dodge, he can be a bit rough when you're trying to attack him specifically.
Yeah, weirdly, the first phase is kind of the trickiest because you have to be a little bit mindful about how you deal damage to him. Always get out. Maybe I can get a little. Nope.
Oh, so yeah, Spike has like basically 2 ways to damage us. Well, actually 3. I take it back. He has his gun, which is the most prevalent. Basically, every time we hit him, there's 9 times out of 10 he's gonna go run to the middle and then go for the gun. The other option is if we get too close, he might run at us and try to smack us. And the third option is with these red crystal balls and the blue ones later in the fight, he can actually pick them up if we're not quick enough, and he can use their special abilities against us. So that's his 3 attack patterns, and the gun is easily the worst.
Now, I have taken some hits here, so we may end up getting defeated, but let's see what happens.
We will see. We gotta get that blue before him. Nice.
Now we're gonna safety take another.
Okay, well,
whatever. I mean, we'll dodge his little beam here.
So yeah, this is what the attack he does when he gets the blue power up. It's not very effective. The red one is actually so much worse. I don't know what the Spyro community's opinion is on it, but the red attack seems to be way harder to dodge because it's like a red fire burst that he sends to the ground.
4, and that should do it. There we go.
There we
go. Got a little hairy there, so we took some safety precautions there by letting him do a couple extra cycles, but better than taking a death and restarting it.
Absolutely, yeah, that was good. I'm very happy you didn't take a death. That was
and it's
nice.
not even like the worst thing that can happen, but like it kind of hurts your soul a little bit when it gets the better of you.
It hurts your soul when you die in any of these bosses. It's not fun.
Yeah, they're not that bad casually. So you whenever you do lose, you're kind of like
Now we have Evening Lake. This homeworld, I've said it many times on my own stream, on friend streams, just in the general Spyro vicinity, like just everywhere. Evening Lake is a beginner's nightmare for almost every category. It's just not a fun time.
Pretty much every part of this, every level's got something. Well, to be honest, when it works, it's amazing. But
when it works, it feels amazing. But there is so many tricks. So
this level also got a lot of production value.
Yeah, so luckily we get the best egg in the game, which we mentioned it earlier, but I'll wait till the name appears on screen.
Noodles!
Hey, like that sync.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right, got a little cocky
don't
there.
Worry.
Not a big deal. We got an autosave right there.
Yeah, Fireworks Factory, this isn't even the, like, super optimal, like, route, but this is the route that I would say 99% of runners take. There's actually a Firefly proxy at the beginning that is so difficult that I swear, like, I think only, like, the top 10 usually go for it or something like that. Like, it's ridiculous, so everyone else, including myself, has to go this way.
Yeah, I just love, like, running through this level, like, you know, this one's a real bop. Actually, fun fact, I think his name's Stuart Copeland of The Police does the soundtrack for the early Spyro games.
So this is a side section where we just gotta run through and there's an egg at the end, so now's a good time to explain Stuart Copeland. Basically, when Insomniac was making Spyro 1, they had like a pretty sizable budget from I believe Sony, I think it was, but either way, they spent a decent portion of their budget, like well over like 1/5, just into getting Stuart Copeland to do the soundtrack for Spyro 1. And he loved it. Like, there's so many clips out there with like PlayStation Underground of him like smiling the whole time, saying, "Oh, this is fun. Like, they're paying me just to be creative." And he would actually try to play the games and get a feel for the levels to make their music. And he wasn't a gamer, so he wasn't that good, but it was the thought that counted. And he ended up loving it so much that he ended up doing the soundtracks for 2 and 3 as well, even with like slightly less pay, which is really cool to see. So here we have an insane skip coming up. Oh my gosh, I do it.
Yeah,
This is gonna be so sick.
Woo! Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. Okay. So I say it's insane just to see a beginner do it. Okay. So we just saw Agent. We're gonna see Agent Spyro. Basically, we entered this level, or not this level, this side section early because you're supposed to have Agent 9. But on the top right corner, just like earlier in the run, you can touch it and get into this level. And then by unplugging your controller right before it loads in while holding a button like combination, you can basically get a pause. And then once you unpause, you can get out and basically take a death abuse and do this whole section as Spyro. It is so much easier. It is so goofy looking. And I didn't know you would actually go for it. That's super cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just so tempting because doing this with Agent 9, Agent 9, by the way, he's a monkey with a gun. And I know that sounds fun, but it's not. Like, he moves slow. This is kind of like a low-rent Doom.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone calls it.
It's time-consuming, and it's a little bit tedious. So when you have the power to charge through it, it's so cathartic. So you only get one shot at that, and if you mess it up, you're gonna lose a little bit of time. But
yeah, you only get. It's really annoying because you only get one shot, and not only that, but even if you miss it and you're like, oh, I'll like exit and go back. No, you get one shot like per like save file because you don't get that intro cutscene ever again once you've seen it once. So once you miss it once, it doesn't matter what you do, you're never getting another chance unless you basically start a new run. So that was very cool to see. I am so happy you did that.
I know, yeah.
There's Stubby.
That's all. That's mostly what I wanted to accomplish. Anyway, we also got Stubby. I really hope that's like someone at Insomniac's pet name. Stubby is such a funny name. I love it.
Also, to answer chat real quick, yeah, you unplug right before it loads, and the reason you do that is it gives you the pause on the exact frame you need it. If you can't unplug your controller, then you basically have to do a frame perfect pause, which is not reliable at all because there's not even a visual cue for the frame perfect pause. So
yeah, the controller being unplugged at the right time basically tells the game to pause at the earliest possible convenience, which does you're basically letting the computer do the frame perfect timing for you. There's still a little bit of concern because you do have to unplug the controller basically when the cutscene is fading in.
Yeah, so you could do it when it's fading in, or you could do it slightly before. But if you do it too early, the game doesn't have the controller check running yet, like when it's loading certain areas. So if you do it too early, even if you unplug it, it'll be like, well, it wasn't unplugged when we were checking, so it must still be plugged in, and that will ruin your day.
Yeah, so that'll give us some extra time here in case we goof up a couple of these other tricks. Real quick, let's get Chad.
I didn't realize that was his name. Oh, here we have a trick coming up. I'm gonna explain it as soon as. Oh,
there we go.
Nice. That dude, you're on fire. Okay,
yeah,
so
that one is nice too because you do get a rumble from the controller to tell you that you got it. Because the visual cue is pretty minute.
So what Lemming just did a zombie glitch. Basically, yep, now you see why we did it. Basically, by doing zombie, it tricks the game into thinking we're dead even though we're not. So after we get out of Lost Fleet, we can just swim out of the level. And it basically just thinks, oh, yeah, you can do that. And then we're going to take a death abuse to get out of the zombie. And then we're going to try to enter Bentley out of bounds while we pick up these 3 eggs. What a camera angle, actually.
I don't know what's going on there. So my understanding, obviously zombie was helpful for the swim in air, but we do have to uncheck it because certain NPCs and enemies just won't acknowledge you on account of you being dead.
Yeah.
So we did need to take a death there just to reset it, and thankfully the game takes mercy on you and still lets you keep your swim in air so we can do this little. I think the last of our. The last of our money bags skips here.
So now we're trying to enter Bentley. He has a huge ransom. I can't remember the number off the top of my head because it's been so long since I've ever considered paying it. I think it might be 1,200 even. It's absurd. But yeah, we entered Bentley out of bounds. Again, there's no visual cue as well as Sheila, but we try to line up with kind of the left side of the blue gym.
Yeah, I think they're, and shout out to Arugula for helping me with this literally yesterday. Usually if you miss it and you your general orientation is right, just get a little bit higher in height and you'll typically get it. Yeah. The one thing I'm glad I missed is that you can accidentally go into a different level playing around with that, so I'm glad we avoided that.
Yeah, you can go into Honey Speedway. Actually, looking at our egg count, I don't know if Honey Speedway is already open or not, but basically, if Honey Speedway is not unlocked yet, it's stored right beside where Bentley's is. So we can get into that.
Yeah, we're at 64 now, so we definitely could have goofed that.
We could have gone to Honey Speedway, yeah.
Yeah, which if we had, we could deal with it, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, Honey Speedway's, it's kind of a meme in the community because Honey Speedway, we don't want to go into any speedway for this run, and it's right beside Bentley's outpost, and if you go into Honey Speedway, you have to wait for it to load, wait for Sparks to stop talking, leave, And then it sends you out of Honey Speedway's portal, so you have to go all the way back to like the top of the tower and do a different out of bound. It's just a mess. It's definitely one of the worst things that can happen, I'd say, in a run.
Yeah, I think at this point where, well, actually, let me do Charmed Ridge first. That'll say we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
But you know, so far we've avoided a lot of our major pitfalls, which is great.
Yeah.
Again,
far,
a lot of tech that you gotta go for, but if you mess it up, usually you gotta burn a little bit of time to set it back up. We haven't had too much of that. I guess we've had Tree Swim and a couple of wonky things in the Molten Crater, but this back half has been going okay so far.
Yeah, the back half, like I said, your Evening Lake has been really good, so I'm very happy to see it. And Charmed Ridge is going to be the last level we have in Evening Lake. Well, actually, no, we have two more.
We're gonna do Frozen Altars.
We're gonna do Frozen Altars. I am a liar. Don't listen to me.
This Frozen Altars is pretty quick if you're doing it right, and there's not too much that can go wrong. One mini game that is not complicated, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. So we'll see what happens there. Also, screw this guy in particular.
that was petty. So yeah,
he likes to hit me, and it kind of ticks me off. So we're just gonna give him a quick little pop there.
Love that. But yeah, this level is notorious in the Spyro community because it has two mini games, both of which the community is not really fans of. One of them, as someone's already mentioned in chat, is cat hockey, and the other one is Bentley boxing,
which we will be doing.
Sadly, we will be doing one of them because Bentley boxing, especially round 1, is very quick. And round 1 isn't nearly as... Oh, okay. Round 1 isn't nearly as bad as round 2, but it's still not enjoyable if you catch my drift. It's still like, man. So here, the gimmick of the level is we have ice breath instead of fire, so we can actually freeze the penguin there and jump off of him. And here we have a weird tech. Basically, we're going to charge up against the wall, and you get a jump out of that, which is very helpful because you're not supposed to get to Jasper yet. And now, since we basically unlocked Bentley by going out of bounds, we can now do Bentley boxing, which... Man, this is a fun mini game. So,
I mean, the insult to injury is this should be fine, but sometimes Yeti here chooses violence. So we're just gonna keep doing jabs.
So yeah, the meta with Bentley boxing hasn't really changed since 2011 for the Spyro community. I don't know if it's just because we haven't looked deep enough into it, or if this is really just the best we have. But our idea has basically been just do jabs, because it's the quickest attack, and if he's blocking and your jab like goes through his block like that, it does double damage. So I don't know if like it's the fastest, but it's what we all do, and I don't think we've really thought of a different way.
Yeah, it usually goes exactly like you saw it there for me. You get a little back, and then you... sorry, we're not going to get your ball, little bro. So.
Yeah, right there, it's trying to get us to do round 2. Round 2 Bentley boxing is way tougher than round 1, which is kind of insane because round 1 is already like kind of like a low challenging, but round 2 is pretty rough sometimes. So.
Yeah, every so often he does choose violence, and then you die, and it'll make you seize because it's just jabs, right? Like, if he messes up your tempo, it kind of hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, the main thing we all do is jab, and if some of us play the game long enough, we can like see the visual cue of like when he's about to swing, so some of us will back up, but it's still just jabbing. It's still trying to, just get in there, so... Not the funnest thing to take damage to. Here we're gonna have the whale eat us, and the reason for that is because there's an egg. Yeah. I don't know how they got it in the whale. I don't know if the plot is the whale ate it by accident or if they actually stuck it there on purpose.
Well, and then he spits you out, so he seems to be a generally agreeable fella. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And now we have Charmed Ridge. This level... following the trend of Evening Lake, it's not really a fan favorite, but we gotta do it.
Yeah, it's gone well in practice, which is exactly why I'm a little bit nervous about it. Marathon Lock dictates that we're gonna beef a couple of tricks here, but they got to be done, in my opinion. So we're there might be some sunk cost fallacy going on. We'll see.
So here we have a cool out of bounds that I forget exactly who found it, but someone found it by like complete accident. They were trying to find an out of bounds skip for like a different area. Yeah, it's Tuval. Wait, someone in chat what? Yeah, Tuval's the one who found it. There's a clip of Tuval like just messing around trying to find like out of bounds stuff. And Tuval was at the end of his like out of bounds session.
Oh boy.
And he was getting super annoyed, so he just started like jumping and messing around, and he found out that the wall to the right over here is just non-existent. Or to the left, actually, I'm sorry. So here we're trying to get out of balance and then get this egg up here. This jump is really annoying.
Yeah, having an unusual amount of trouble with it. The actual tech involved in it is I think it's called charge flop. The trick is just to end your jump at a certain angle, which will actually make Spyro like hop up a little bit, like that.
Nice.
So it's one of those things where more often than not, I actually don't struggle with it too much. But as you can see, it's a little bit painful when you mess it up because you gotta get the whole setup done. And thankfully, my recurring setup went okay. So we lost a bit of time there, but not as much as we could have.
Yeah, and there we got Benjamin. That one's pretty easy. Then I assume we're gonna do the bean mini game.
Oh, we're beaning, yeah.
Which it's one of those things where it has 2 eggs, but again, not a fan favorite. So here we're gonna come over here to the side section.
I love the death noise those cats make. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Now, this is an annoying section. I love Jack, though. Look at this guy.
Yeah, according to legend. And then afterwards, he's just... I just bought these seeds from a bear with a bag of gems.
Yeah,
they told
he
me
didn't
they were
do
magic.
It, but I do love his voice. He's like this weird... like, he's just like a little English peasant, but he talks like a American yokel.
Yeah. Have a couple if you
that
like.
was that so far we're doing player dev intended puzzling here. You get these little hello there we go. You make these little seeds sprout that you platform on, but we are going to do something called a mushroom bounce momentarily here once I can get on the flower. Even casually, these things are a nightmare.
Yeah. So here we're gonna try to get some extended height. Nice, first try. Wow.
There we go.
Yeah, basically,
first try the next one.
If you hold square and X when you're bouncing on the mushroom at a certain point and then let go, you can get like extra height. You kind of saw it in the video. Spyro kind of freaked out at the bottom of the mushroom, like when you did that, and that's just the indication that you got it. And because of that, it's very, very helpful.
Make a little bit of a tricky jump here.
Nice. So
it's
a
far riskier one you can do, which we're obviously not going to in a marathon, but skip the little mushroom there.
Yeah, a lot of people do the spin jump, but spin jumps are like super hit or miss for some people, so runners take this differently all the time. For the longest time, I used to do the spin jump, but then do the double bounce here, which I think is a little more standard. So here we're trying to get the double bounce so we can skip the rest of the mini game.
No.
Not quite. Because the idea is we're going to get up there and then the mini game actually ends at that wall.
Yeah,
so
even
again,
with these multiple tries...
Oh, that should be good.
Okay.
Nice.
Even with these multiple tries, it's faster than the casual approach because it starts getting very puzzle heavy, where like you have to start sprouting mushrooms and then like unsprouting them. It's like it's probably a nice little brain teaser for children, but it's time consuming. So glad we got that done with relatively little issue.
Yeah.
I do have a quick donation green.
Fantastic. This is a good time for it.
All right. We got $25 from Maddie Inc. It says, let's kick this event off right. Here's two great weekends of speed gaming, and cheers to everyone who has worked so hard these past few months. Let's cheer them on as they showcase everything that they've learned. Hype?
Sorry. All right, so yeah, after the bean minigame, Charmed Ridge becomes a lot easier. There's a ton of tech you could do in this level. like, I know we've been mentioning, like, there's some proxies we ain't doing because it's, like, really tough. Charmed Ridge has, like, the actual, like, top-level routing is just so stupid because you can proxy off of, like, every single, like, enemy in that level just about. So, it just looks ridiculous. But the route Lemming is doing is, I'd say, what, like, most people do.
And here we're gonna get for another boss. I like how they change your aircraft each time from balloon to weird helicopter jalopy to
just rocket. Yeah. Ooh, was that a cutscene
That's
crash?
it. I've had enough.
I don't know. You're on emulator, right?
Oh yeah.
Why did I say cutscene crash? So cutscene crashing is something that can happen on console with PS2's FDS option. If a cutscene doesn't load properly, you have to open the disc tray and close it again, and it's very odd.
This might...
Alright, so here we have Scorch. This is a very RNG-dependent boss fight. Oh, Bentley, you shouldn't have. Alright.
Wow, so...
I'll let Derek explain the benefit of this.
So basically, the developers in this boss fight made 2 rocket types that Bentley can send out. There's a green rocket and a red rocket. Because the green rocket gives you 1 shot, and the red rocket gives you, like, 50. The green rocket can home, and the red ones don't home as well, but they do the exact same damage. So, every single scenario, we want the red rocket, because basically you can get, like, 1 pickup of it and just completely wipe the boss. And with the green one, you get 1 hit, so...
It's a really kind of bonkers spread there. Like, it's just so much better to get the red.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd because Jeremy Thompson, the world record holder for any percent and 100 egg, actually did a run at Insomniac Live where he got to talk to some of the old developers and kind of see if they remembered anything. And he just straight up asked them, like, hey, were they supposed to do different, like, damage values? And they were like, we think. But even
that is not the most developer answer, like,
So... Because it looked like even they were shocked when they heard it doesn't do more damage, but they were kind of just like, we think it should have. So here, he even spawns Buzz, but Buzz with the, like, rocket power-up is just a breeze.
Yeah. A little suboptimal, but we also didn't get into a heroin situation like we have with Spike and Buzz, so definitely our cleanest boss of the day.
And now we're done with what most would consider to be the worst homeward.
Yeah. No, the next one's kind of funny, but it's also, like, no cutscenes after this one here, so goes a little bit faster than the others.
Yeah, we have Midnight Mountain coming up, and this is where, like, half of the levels are fan favorites and the other half are just okay. But that's a huge improvement from Evening Lake, where, like, the majority of the levels people don't like except
just
for Frozen.
Heroin,
Yeah.
What I like about the levels here in Midnight is that they're all conceptually kind of half-baked. We're entering a world that's just like crystal, like that's the extent of it, just crystal people. There is a tomb full of Egyptian dogs, a desert full of green acid for reasons, and then my favorite, Dino Mines, which is just a root and toot in cowboy level with dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs with guns, which is really cool. You don't see that.
Like actual honest-to-goodness guns in a children's game. It's kind of a choice.
So here we have Crystal Islands. This one actually has a decent bit of eggs we're going to get all through kind of unique ways. First and foremost, we're going to want to get a Swiminair as quick as possible. There's 2 ways to do this. We can either get it off this like gem, or we could... What'd you say?
We're not going to go for this one. We'll go for the
yeah, the gym one is really annoying. You get like 1 try at it per like level load, because after that, the guy doesn't send the gym as far down. But the more common one, and what's also used in I think it's 117. Yeah, I run 17. is this one. This one's kind of easy to get the Swiminair. You just go in that spot, wait for the water to rise, because it goes up and down, kind of on a cycle. And you push it, and there you go. So from here, we're gonna actually get a ton of eggs. We're gonna get that one. We're gonna get the one here, and then there's actually a biplane, a thief in a plane that we're supposed to like kind of race. And we're just gonna go the other direction, and he gets like completely shell-shocked. He just runs into us as like a last-ditch effort.
Yeah, he is not expecting to come from that angle, so he just gets yeeted off into the stratosphere. Then
here we have a little bit of an overlap.
Here.
Oh, actually no, I see it. My bad. We're gonna get this egg. This is Lloyd, and then after that, we're gonna go and do the slide section. And the slide section, there's a super hard turtle proxy that I think only recently
we're
people have been trying to get good at
gonna
that.
do this one developer intended. There is a cool little skip here, but I beef it more often than I get it. So we'll just have a nice little chill slide time.
Yeah, there is a corner cut a little further back. I think it saves like maybe 10-ish seconds, but if you miss it, you're just gonna miss the slide entirely. There's like no other option. It's either you land it or you can kind of see it right there. Like on the top left when we just passed it, you could have seen where we could have dropped from. But yeah, it's either you land it or you miss it and die, and then like all the time saves gone. But yeah, Charmed Ridge, we get a lot of eggs very quickly. This level, even if like there were more eggs out in the open and we didn't have to get the end of level egg for like every level, we would still do Charmed Ridge like for sure. It's just loaded with easy to get eggs.
Yeah, like you look at the egg count compared to like your estimate and you think that like it's looking a little harrowing, but you pick up so much there.
Yeah, also the person in chat is right. That swim in air is as easy as it looks.
It's pretty basic.
If you're at home and you're like, oh, you know, this run, like there's something cool I want to try, that one is like the easiest. Go in that one spot and then wait for the water to rise, hold up and push square, and you'll probably get it like first or second try. So
yep, that said, I did.
Here we have a scorpion proxy.
No?
These
Scorpion
proxies, basically you're trying to get behind them to where when they swing their tail, they kind of launch you forward.
Like that. There we go.
That one, yeah, that one's pretty nice. And basically the game, it just freaks out when you're like behind them, because like the way it works is they have an attack animation where they use their tail to swing at you.
This is my original character, Tara Croft. Please don't steal.
Your original character?
That's always kind of a funny one. I mean, maybe that's fair use, but it seems to really kind of close.
Pretty Tara. Yeah, the Bamboo Terrace one. Bamboo's Terrace one's also pretty easy, but I would actually say, yeah, it probably is a touch easier for most, actually. And here,
the Bamboo Terrace isn't too bad. It's just it kills you if you get it wrong.
Yeah, if you get it wrong, it kills you. So here we're gonna do a little sequence break. You're not well, I don't know if they call it a sequence break, but you're definitely not supposed to do it that way. You're supposed to go all the way around, climb a ladder. There, we took damage on purpose to get to a higher elevation, and then we went over to the right to get that egg. Definitely not intended. It looked kind of goofy, but I mean, did it pretty easily.
Yeah, we have a scorpion proxy there, but just like where the health ended up being at, it was a little too high a risk, so we just went for the, well, I guess the guaranteed damage you could say, but oh no!
You're dead.
Yeah.
Here we have the Sheila section. This section is a 2D kind of like platforming section, and basically it gives you 2 eggs. So we do it even if it's kind of boring, just because 2 eggs for a little side section is almost always worth it.
I mean, it's 2 eggs.
Yeah, that's 2 whole eggs. One interesting thing about this, and this is getting into like nerd knowledge, is that if you glitch Spyro into this, you can actually play it in 3D, but it like almost always crashes as soon as you try to make any meaningful progress. But you can see this level from a 3D perspective if you so wish.
While we're wrapping up, can I sneak in here?
Absolutely, yeah. We're just stuck here. So.
Side scrollers in 3D environments, love it. We did get $50 from Killed the Joke. Shout out to the amazing Spyro Year of the Dragon run so far. Great way to start the event off. Special shout out to my lovely wife Jess, who is a die-hard Spyro fan who woke up today with the sole intent to watch the run.
Hey!
Thank you for that.
Doing it justice. Alright. We're just about done with Desert Ruins here. Gonna grab Nelly here. And we have, I think, just 2 more levels before our boss fight.
You might be right. It's been a while since I've ran 100 egg. I run so many different categories. It's hard for me to keep track.
Sometimes, the big picture of this run eludes me, but in my brain it all pans out. And I still need to sort out our thief here. Hello?
Yep, so we're gonna get the thief. There is a slightly quicker way to do it by, like, basically going to the bridge and kind of jumping away and then going back into the terrain. If that makes any sense, because when you, like, glide out, he goes like, oh, I'm gonna go to the right, and then he's like, well, wait, you're going right, I'll go left, and it's one of those moments, but it's like ultra mega picky.
It looks great. It just we would have spent more time on that than me just doing it naturally.
Been doing that, yeah. Then here's Billy. Billy's just behind the wall. And yeah, I think you're right. I think we just have 2 more levels left because...
Yeah, we got Haunted Tomb, which is pretty technical. So that's kind of our last big hurdle.
Yeah, then we got Dino Mines.
Dino Mines.
Which Dino Mines is the fan favorite by a mile. Like,
I love it so much.
It's hard to find someone who doesn't like Dino Mines.
It is so delightful.
So, yeah, Lemming kind of mentioned it earlier, but basically this level is pretty technical. It's got a lot of things going for it. So, first things first, we're going to push the button, wait for the wall to rise, and we're going to try to get on it right when it's about to go up so we can get to the end of the level. Nice! That was clean, dude.
Now a riddle, and it's egg. The answer's always egg.
So, yeah, in Haunted Tomb, they have riddles, and I guess the idea was to test kids on their, like, thinking abilities. I don't know what they were thinking, or if it was just, like, a gimmick. But the answers stay the same. It's a PlayStation game on a disc, so... They never change, and that guy is always egg, so we just memorize where it's at.
Skip a little slide here.
Yep, that was good. Good slide skip.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if I hit the trigger or not. We'll find out shortly here. Nope, okay, great.
And then we're going to come over here, and there's an egg out in the open. We just have to get past this guy.
Yeah, they give you a lot of health animals here. Almost like they kind of knew that those rock guys were obnoxious.
Yeah, the fodder in this level is pretty insane.
That guy's probably going to get me every time, but no big deal. We got another beetle
There's
here.
one exactly right there, yeah.
And I do want gold sparks, or maximum health, because we are entering a mini game where we have like a tank battle, as they did in yonder Egyptian times. This first one's not too bad. That said, I am going to keep my mouth shut because if I'm not careful, I will have to do it again.
Yeah, so here, this is Tank 1. There's only 4 tanks. There's actually a harder section here, Tank 2, with 10 tanks. Optimally, we would route it in if you, like, had it, like, memorized and, like, down to a T. Lemming, I assume we are not doing it.
No, so we did grab an extra egg in Bamboo Terrace specifically to avoid the second tanks battle.
Yeah, we did the Bamboo.
It is rather infamous in the community, and I'm taking their word for it. We're just gonna hit the bricks and keep the run going.
Yeah, and now we're down to the last level, Dino Mines.
Dino Mines.
Gosh, it's such a good level. Everyone loves its aesthetic, and like even gameplay wise, it's very like easy going. It's very like chill.
Yeah, after the beginner level, there's not really anything too fancy we're gonna do. We're just gonna play Spyro fast. Nice little break for me.
Yeah, so here we're gonna head bash that. What is it? It's an egg called Buddy.
Let's not forget Buddy.
Yeah, it's like the name you give your stuffed animal when you're 8 years old, but they were running out of names at times.
So we're gonna grab our last 4 here in Dino Mines.
The original Battle Royale tanks. I'm not sure about that, Rugula. So here, we're gonna get an egg right off the rip, just to the left. I don't really understand why they put it over here. I guess the idea is like maybe you would see it like from a distance, but it just feels like
is really phoning it in here.
Yeah. But after that, we are basically just gonna go through the level. There's an
this little like revolver oscillate style thing that like allows you to avoid them for the most part. These blue dinosaurs do chuck dynamite at you, and they often do hit me. Got our Gatling gun Triceratops here. Let's grab there you go. Got a little bit of health there.
So what's nice about the enemies in this level is the green dinosaurs won't start their like attack wind-up until they're on screen. And by the time they get the wind-up going and are like almost ready to attack, if we just off-screen them, they don't attack. So they almost never attack us. The blue dinosaurs are menaces. As soon as they're on screen for like a second and a half, they'll throw the dynamite. And the Gatling guns are also the same. As soon as they're like on screen for like a second, they just immediately start firing. So the green dinosaurs are pushovers.
We're past our firearms here. Now we have to do one more weird kind of water dodge thing.
One of them done.
I'm gonna mess this up and put my foot in my mouth, but this one is a lot easier than the one we did all the way back in Seaside. You just have to not get hit.
In She-Shell, yeah, it was much harder.
Right.
Because even though the controls are still just as slippery, even though it's still like a 1.25x, like just like movement, like increase, like basically since there's more space to work with and it's less precise, it doesn't feel as bad. I'd say this TNT section up here is the worst.
Yeah, that one looks harrowing, but if you kind of know, they're in the same spot each time, so you know where to go.
Yeah. Are those the sound effects they use in GoldenEye? I've not played GoldenEye. Lemming, you have?
I think they might be onto something there. It definitely sounded a bit of a core memory unlock dynamic to that bullet ricochet.
Yeah. And if we have this correct, this
egg,
should be our 100th egg, and it absolutely is. There we go.
This has gone pretty good. We do have one boss fight left, and it's hard. Well, famous last words. It's pretty hard to die because health items will be dropped periodically throughout it, but she does kind of decide if you're gonna PB or not PB depending on some of her antics. So we'll see what she does.
Yeah, this final boss fight, there's been guides written about this, like Jeremy Thompson's written like a 15-page Word document if you really want to get your sorceress knowledge on. TLDR, there's going to be 3 phases. There's going to be a cannon phase, a take phase, and a UFO phase. They're all pretty annoying because the sorceress is just hard to hit in general.
Yeah, she can waddle with gusto and actually dodge a lot of your stuff. I mean, the other thing about this final battle, and I haven't really talked too much about it because we have been getting fortunate on our vehicle sections, but the vehicle sections are kind of a nightmare. Spyro has no opposable thumbs, and like a lot of the oh, she's getting pretty good at here. You gotta pay attention. But like, it's really hard to navigate. It's hard to shoot some of those things, and the final battle being kind of an oops all vehicles is a bit unfortunate for me. But you know, fortunately, the last one is a pretty solid ship, so we can. We're getting pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, so this is pretty rough. Basically, the sorceress has 2 main attacks. Basically, using her wand, she can do either a yellow, like, kind of homing shot, or she can do a blue, like, just, like, covering space shot. The blue one is so much more preferred because 9 times out of 10, it won't hit you where you're going. But the yellow shot is a menace. It homes, and it homes very accurately. You have to really take a lot of precautions to avoid it.
Hopefully we're going to unlock tanks here shortly. The gun turrets are kind of the most hard to deal with, but we've actually gotten some good fortune here on her AI. So we've got a couple of good turrets in there, and we hopefully will get a tank. There it is.
Now we got the tank. The tank is definitely the easiest vehicle to use, which is why a lot of people will try to do like a UFO skip. It's a little precise, but people just really don't like it. Here, since it is so precise, we're just not going to mess with it. We're going to get the UFO. And with the UFO, the main goal is just to get a hit in and then kind of do like a 360. Because she has invincibility frames.
We're going to try and keep the same UFO the entire battle at this point, but if we get knocked off, it's not the end of the world. Kind of the strange thing about the UFO is it gives you like an X and Y axis here, so but you don't really want that. You kind of just want it to be like
you really
tank.
don't want to use the Y axis.
Like, there's no point to it. So I think I've got a good angle here now. So let's try and whittle her down. Again, kind of like a flight sim, a lot of these shots are going to try and call. But she is more agile than she looks.
What a shot from her. I can't believe that missed.
I know, I'm a little shocked.
Had you cooked.
That did look pretty sorted, but we're okay.
So yeah, here Lemming is taking very wide 360s. and it just makes it easier to try to hit her. When you're on a vehicle like this, she basically just runs or does the homing attack. She doesn't do the like standard blue ball attack anymore.
All right, time will be on this last hit here, which I think is this one. Yep, time. All right.
All right, GG.
Perfect. All right, well, that went really well in my book. That was Spyro Year of the Dragon, and we do have 101 eggs. I don't know if that makes a run invalid or not, but we did achieve maximum egg. What was the final time on that?
1:17:58.
Nice. All right. I'm perfectly
GG.
happy with that. Thank you, Derek, for being here. Shout outs to the Spyro community, especially Arugula and Tora Knight, who also helped me out. And as well as a few others who just kind of helped me get through the whole thing in these past couple of months. This run is a blast. A lot of tech to learn early on, but once you start learning the game, it really feels good.
Yeah, and just going through the run real quick, I mean, the beginning was a bit rough, but your Evening Lake, I mean, hey, that was insane.
That was
and then Midnight Mountain went pretty good as well, so hey, huge GGs. And we also saw a lot of stuff. I mean, even Agent Spyro, I mean, that's just cool to see. I didn't know you had that in your back pocket, so...
Yeah, very happy we pulled that off.
Spyro, great to see you.
More Spyro is coming. I believe we have Spyro Legacy coming up tonight. I myself will also have another dragon-themed run, Quest for Glory 5 Dragonfire tonight. So stay tuned for a very fiery lizard-based day one of Speedromizer.